Hey everybody, Tim Norris here, aka GreyElephant, and I just got back from Origins, and I thought this was a good time that we should create a top list of convention tips. So I came up with 9 ideas of things that maybe if you've never been to a big convention, that maybe you didn't think about. These are things to possibly consider. Got back from Origins, like I just said. I drove up there after work on Friday. I just came back on Saturday, I didn't get to bed till 4:30 this morning, so not much sleep at all, which is one of my items. We're going to talk about it. But it was a phenomenal time. Thank you so much for all the support. I know the last 2 videos were a little controversial. We're going to make things a little bit more fun and upbeat from now on for a while. But for all you who did come up to me and gave me your support for those videos, thank you. It really meant a lot to me. You know, I wasn't really expecting that much support, but it was non-stop all day, and that was absolutely phenomenal. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I only had, in my opinion, one semi-negative conversation, and I'm not even caring to even get into that because I'm just, let's focus on the positive, right? Alright, so let's get into our list. At the end of this, I will have a slight announcement of a little policy change that I'm going to have here at GreyElephant Gaming, but we'll get into that at the very end. Number 1. One of the things that I notice at conventions is that we have a lot of big booth publishers, and they seem to get the biggest draw. We know the big publishers, Simon, Asmodee, you know, the Fantasy Flight, with everything under the Asmodee umbrella. The problem that I see in this is that there's a lot of very passionate small publishers, or vendors even, that do attend these conventions that can easily be overlooked. So number 1 is, I just wanted to say, stop and check out smaller publishers and booths. It really won't take you that much time, but I tell you what, it sure does mean a lot to these people. Even at Origins, I only spent 1 day in the dealer hall, so I really didn't have time myself. And when I left, I remember when I was walking out, because they were announcing, you know, they're like, you know, Origins is going to close in 5 more minutes. You know, they do that announcement like every 30 seconds, it seems. But as I'm walking out, I was really just looking around. I was like, wow, I didn't see that booth. I didn't see that booth, because I just overlooked them because I had an agenda in my mind. I accomplished that agenda, but at the same time, I feel like I still missed out on little pieces that if I possibly would have tried to, you know, focus on that before I went into the exhibit hall, I possibly could have visited them and at least just said hello. You know, these people, they spend time and money, obviously, to set these booths up. And I'm sure that could be highly discouraging when you're looking across and you see the bigger publishers and they're constantly getting all this draw. Well, I mean, and deservedly so. I mean, they make phenomenal games. But you're still a passionate designer or publisher yourself, and you're not pulling anybody in because nobody knows you or recognizes you. So as a small YouTuber myself, I know that, you know, I like to try to draw people in. I love talking to people that are fans of the show, and I could only imagine how these publishers would feel. For me, it's a free thing. I do just content, but these people are actually putting themselves out there and paying for these booths and these products. So yeah, take your time. Maybe stop in, like I said, just say hello, see what kind of games they have, and you never know. You might be surprised at what you find. Number 2, meet with your friends. I know when we go to gaming conventions, man, it's we always say that, you know, oh man, I'll see you at the next convention, man, and we're gonna play a game, or we're gonna do this, or we're gonna go get something to eat, or whatever. Even like yesterday, I had a date that was, well, I call them dates, with one of my friends, Kevin, and we were gonna play the Unlock game. Well, it just didn't happen because the friend that did have it, David Taylor, he had the game. Well, he had already left earlier, and the game I played before lasted a little bit longer than it planned on, and so we ended up missing our meeting that we were supposed to have. Kevin lives close by, and him and I, we will game together, but it just made me stop and really think about that moment that, you know, take time with your friends, and you don't really see, like Kevin I see all the time, but you may not see your Kevin very often. And if you only see your friends maybe 1 or 2 times a year during the conventions, don't even worry about saying, let's play a game together. Just sit down and talk with one another, exchange hugs, and really just, you know, socialize. you don't know if you're going to see this person again when another year rolls around. It's great to create moments and memories and really get to know one another as you just get to sit down, chat, and, well, if you know me, have a few drinks. So yes, number 2, make sure you take time out for your friends. Number 3, comfortable clothes and shoes. This is a big deal. Now, let me show you what I wear. I'll take it off because you guys are probably going to laugh at me. I get a lot of comments about the fact that I always wear my boots. All right, because I got my work boots. I wear them everywhere. I am so used to wearing my work boots. They were expensive. They are very comfortable, and I wear them all day for work. So whenever I try to switch to a tennis shoe, it's hard for my body to adjust because they're so used to the work boots. And like I said, I spent a lot of money on them. Why not just keep wearing them? I don't care. So make sure your shoes are very comfortable because you are going to do an awful lot of walking, more walking than what you might think that you're going to do. And if you're not prepared for that, you're going to have a lot of issues trying to get from one place to the other because your feet are going to be hurting you, and that's not a good thing at all. Same thing with your clothing. Make sure that you're not wearing anything that would be like too tight or restricting to where when you sit, it's going to like right up in the crotch or something. You'd be like, oh God, I got to dig that out, you know, especially for guys. I don't know how it is for women. I can't speak for women, but I know for guys, that's very, you feel weird because you got to pull down on your pants like that, you know, to try to make room for when you sit, or wearing something that's just going to be too hot, because when you're in a convention, you don't realize that, man, all those bodies packed into one place, man, the BTUs from a human body just it makes it hot in there. And I like my friend TJ, he wore like a shirt and then he had also a cover shirt on it. For me, somebody like me, I would be sweating my brains out. I can't wear that much clothing. I wear a light shirt, something that's easy, breathable clothing, and make sure it's not going to be something that's going to be uncomfortable for when you sit and you raise up. So comfortable clothes and comfortable shoes, number 3 for sure, is very, very important. Number 4, something I don't think a lot of people realize when you go to conventions is that a lot of the publishers don't necessarily provide bags for their games. So you might go up and you're like, oh man, there's this hot new game and I'm so going to totally get it. And you think, okay, let's say Gloomhaven, for instance. I mean, this big, ginormous box, okay? And you're like, you know, so-and-so's going to have Gloomhaven and I can't wait to get Gloomhaven. So, you know, the door's open and you rush in and you grab it and you're like, oh, I got the game. And you got your backpack in probably already and all this stuff. And then they're like, well, I don't have a bag. So now you're carrying this, but then you're always going to probably stop at other places. You're going to get other purchases, and now you got these boxes starting to stack, and it becomes a bit of a nuisance. So bring your own nylon bags. I really highly recommend it. Not only is it good for the environment because we're not, you know, more plastic, because these things, these nylon sacks, you can reuse them over and over. I still have nylon bags that were provided by Asmodee and Passport Game Studio from years ago. I just saved them. Cool Stuff Inc. was even passing them out for free at Origins, and I went ahead and grabbed an extra couple just because they are so convenient, they're very versatile, and they will last forever. Take a couple, stuff them in your backpack, and then just in case if the publisher doesn't have bags, floop, boom, you are covered. Plus, it's also going to help protect your game a little bit, because when you buy the new games, nobody likes their games to get beat up. But if you got that little bit of extra fabric on the outside, it will help prevent somebody from possibly scratching the game or maybe dinging it up a little bit. So, something to think about. Number 5, don't bring too much with you to carry around, or don't bring those bags that you have to drag behind you, those suitcases. This is a very frustrating thing, and I hate when guys do this at conventions, that they bring these ginormous suitcases, like if you see, like if you're going to a traveler uses at the airport or something, and they're walking and they're pulling those things behind them, and people just constantly are tripping over those things. It is so frustrating, and I understand that a lot of times maybe they're using that stuff to be able to set up a booth or something like that. Oh, that's fine, and I get it. But when you're especially at Gen Con, like Origins, you can somewhat get away with this. You can't do this at Gen Con, because as you're trying to drag that bag behind you down those aisles, and we're all just, you know, shoulder to shoulder, just shuffling down those things, people can't look down and see these bags, and they're just constantly tripping over them. They are a huge tripping hazard. Plus, I always see the guys pulling them, and they're constantly, getting jerked, because people are tripping. Don't bring the bags that you have to drag behind you. They're very frustrating. And don't carry too much in with you, because what you're going to end up doing is you're going to wear yourself out. Any extra weight you're carrying is just going to drag down, and eventually it's going to take its toll on your body, your posture. You're going to start sagging, which is going to be hard on your back. For me, I carried a very light satchel that I put over the side of me. Backpacks are good, but backpacks make my back sweat and make me too hot, so it's a guy thing. I know women watch this and they're like, ew, back sweat. Yeah, guys do that, man. We sweat horrible. But I wore a side satchel this time, and it was much more comfortable for me. Plus, it had little pockets there that if smaller game I saw, I could just whoop, throw it right in there. Plus, it carried my video equipment and everything in there. Perfect for me. So think about that as well. Try not to carry too much in, and certainly do not drag bags behind you, unless obviously if you're using that right away. Number 6, plenty of fluids. All right, and I do recommend try to stay off of the sodas. Sodas are high sugar. I do recommend protein shakes, but of course, once again, I do want to recommend that you keep the sugar content low, because the sugar will be in your system. It'll give you an immediate shock, but it'll quickly just flow through your body, and it's not going to give you that hydration that you need for a long convention day, okay? Because you're talking a good 8 hours you're packed in there, and I know nobody likes to leave. We all want to stay there and play games and meet our friends and talk. Bring plenty of waters with you, protein shakes, things of that nature. I don't even really recommend fruit juices or anything. I do just recommend flat out water. I think it's the best thing you can bring with you to just stay hydrated, to make sure that you're not going to lose your voice, which is a very easy thing to do in a noisy convention, because as you're talking to people, you don't realize that you're yelling a lot. I yell a lot naturally. But you don't realize just how higher you're talking and how much more energy you're forcing out of yourself, because it's too loud in there, and you're trying to just, even somebody right there next to you, you're still having to talk very loud to one another. Plenty of fluids. I took into Origins with me in my satchel. I carried 3 bottled waters and 2 protein shakes, and I was done with all of those, and I still needed 2 extra waters by the end of the day, which I went and bought. So I should have been smarter. I should have brought a couple of extra, didn't do it, and I paid the price. So that's why it's on my list to warn you. Bring plenty of waters. That also, just remember, we talked about carrying too much weight. Waters are heavy, so keep that in mind when you're packing your bags. You're going to have that weight on you. But the good part about this is that you're going to be disposing of that weight because you're going to be drinking them throughout the day. So, something to think about. Number 7, this is an important one. Our pleases and thank yous. It's a good thing to take a moment to thank the people who do the demos. I don't know how you guys do it, and my hat's off to you guys, because you are a rare, phenomenal breed of human being. And I mean that in the most sincere way I could possibly say it, because I don't know how you do it. To stand there, and a lot of you stand the whole day doing it, and that would just kill me. And you teach us these games. And most of you, and I do mean this, because very, very few times you're going to find somebody that's a little grouchy, or maybe they're just, and we're going to get into this with rest, maybe they didn't sleep well because they're sleeping in a hotel, and it's like, and they're grouchy, whatever. But they're trying. I don't know how you guys do it. You are phenomenal. You are absolutely amazing superhuman beings, and you need to be applauded. And I'm dead serious. I am just amazed at you. Thank the people who do the demos. Thank them. And take the time to just try not to cut them off while they're trying to explain rules. They're so tired of probably already teaching this game by the time the 3rd day rolls around. Let them just explain and get the spiel out. Then save your questions for after the game's explained if you don't understand something. Which is maybe something I should have wrote down here. Just bring a pad of paper and a pen with you. Write down things. And then as they're done with their spiel, ask them the question. Then they can explain it. Or just start playing and figure it out. But the point that I'm really wanting to try to stress here is thank the people who do the demos. And just be nice and patient with them, because Lord Almighty, you are amazing human beings. I mean, and that is hard work there. Yeah. Number 8, which is rest. Rest, sleep, sit, do not rush around. Those were the 4 things that I wrote down for rest, okay? Take your time. Stop, smell the roses. This is a good moment where, when I mentioned on number 1, where you could take time to just sit in the booths with the smaller publishers. A lot of times, if they don't have anybody there, even if you're not necessarily interested in what type of game they have, let them give their spiel to you. Try it out, because that's giving you time to sit down and rest your body. We run ourselves so ragged, and we don't realize it until we hit that wall of exhaustion. I do it all the time. At conventions, I just will be running around. I don't eat enough. I don't eat well enough, which, oh my God, shout out to those dos hermanos, those burritos at Tahoe. They were amazing. I was shocked with how good that food was at Origins. Man, I hope so bad that they are back next year, because I will eat nowhere else but there. They made these amazing steak corn tacos. Oh, so good, so good. Yeah, okay, but I'm getting off topic here. Take your time, make sure you're resting. At night, I know we want to be with our friends, because that was one of my points I put here. At some point, we got to call it a day or call it a night, and we got to get our sleep. I didn't sleep from Friday going into Saturday. I slept maybe 3 hours. And that's the other thing about this. When you're rooming up with other people, you're not used to sleeping with other people that are making all the kinds of weird body noises, or they're maybe, my friend TJ was, and I didn't realize he used a PAP machine. The good part for me is I use always a lot of white noise in my bedroom anyways. I run a ceiling fan, a wall fan, and I turn on an air filter. I love white noise, so it worked perfect for me. But I'm still sleeping on a foreign bed, and that takes a bit to get used to. So it takes a longer for me to fall asleep in a hotel than what it does at home, is what I'm saying. So keep that in mind as well. Yeah, just stop, smell the roses, man. Number 9. This is the last one, and it is probably the most important one. Make sure that we are bathing using deodorant. And also, bring some hand sanitizer with you. These are all sanitary things that we may not realize that we are producing a funk about us. So, throughout this video, you have been seeing my little clips of all the hugs I got from Origins. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing those. Now, think about that. I'm hugging all these people, we're hanging all over each other, and we are just constantly exchanging all of our body on one, fluids on one another. It's gross to say that, but we're pressed up. I mean, I'm sweating, they're sweating. I mean, we're doing stuff here, okay? It happens. It happens. We see our friends, we give them bear hugs, and I love my friends. But at the same time, carry a little thing of deodorant with you in your bag, and just every now and then, get yourself sprayed down, especially you men. We sweat way more than you ladies. And we don't realize it, but man, we start dripping down on our neckline, down on our arms, down our backs. Just get ourselves a nice little spritz. Keep ourselves smelling nice and pretty, okay? Nice and pretty, just like that. We'll just spray it just like that, okay? And a little spray can doesn't cost much, easy to do, and it's going to make everybody's experience much better. Just so you know, everybody at Hug smelled amazing. But make sure we're also showering and bathing, and keep that hand sanitizer, because one of the things you don't keep in mind or think about is we are shaking a lot of hands, but we're also playing demo games that have been touched by 100 other people. Okay, we don't know how clean their hands were, but even if they were sparkly clean, I mean, eventually we are going to get funk on these components. You're playing with cards, even though they're sleeved, doesn't matter, you're going to get the funk on your hands. Hand sanitizer will make sure that you don't get the con crud. Carry a little bottle with you. After you shake hands, I always say it this way too. I always say, hey, don't be offended by this. And I pull it out and I'm like, squirt, squirt, squirt. And I'm like, do you want some too? Because look, it's easy to exchange that. And then you leave the convention and a week later, you're like, I got con crud. This is how you prevent con crud. Hand sanitizer. All right, guys, that's my top 9 list of convention tips. I hope you enjoyed this video. Carmen and I will be having a video up this week of Defenders of the Last Stand. We've been working on this one. We keep getting our butts kicked, so it obviously must be rule problems. The game is just flawed. But nope, we're playing it right. We just get our butts kicked. So you guys might see an epic defeat, which does not happen very often with Carmen and I during co-ops, but that'll be coming up this week. The other announcement I do have is that I know in the past videos I said I will not be doing Kickstarter previews anymore. I'm going to change my policy, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Number 1. I will not charge for Kickstarter videos, and the reason that I won't is because I really just want to do this as a fun thing that I like to do, and once you start involving mummies, or terrible. You don't want to involve mummies, never. Money, then things get more business-like, and I don't want to feel that pressure. Been there, done that. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I want to be able to do this at a free cost for me, and I want to do it for my friends and also for those that need exposure, some of the smaller publishers. After talking with some of the publishers about this, and them explaining to me why they do use Kickstarter, I understood exactly why, and it made more sense. And I appreciate Rob from White Wizard Games. I just want to give you a shout out because you are the one who explained it, and after you did, I was like, all right, I get it. So I'm going to do one for them. I'm going to do one for probably Tasty Minstrels coming up, and also for a new game for a friend of mine called Legendary Creatures. So you will see those. And just note that none of them will be paid, so any opinion I get will be my honest opinion, and if the game does suck, I will let you know. Alright guys, that's pretty much it, which Legendary Creatures doesn't suck. I already played that, it's fun. That's pretty much it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Look for our video on Defenders of the Last Stand coming up, and also I have a few videos I did at Origins, and I'm going to be releasing those sporadically throughout the week as well. One with Jason Brenner, one with Sarah Erickson, one with Meeple Realty, one with Rob from White Wizard Games, and I know I'm forgetting somebody, but you'll see that one coming up as well. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.